A serious warning was actually meted out today, ladies and gentlemen, by Iran's General Ebrahim Jabbari. He claimed that missiles launched earlier were from Iran's reserve stockpile. But the most shocking part of his statement, okay, he actually promised that even more powerful, never before seen weapons will be soon to be revealed. Okay, these new weapons, ladies and gentlemen, he said, could actually change the course of the conflict. This threat marks a dangerous and risky escalation in the ongoing tensions between Iran, the US, and of course Israel.
ترامپ بداند ما برای اینکه سالها با شما بجنگیم.
A short time ago, the United States military began major combat operations in Iran. Our objective is to defend the American people by eliminating imminent threats from the Iranian regime, a vicious group of very hard, terrible people. Its menacing activities directly endanger the United States, our troops, our bases overseas, and our allies throughout the world. For 47 years, the Iranian regime has chanted death to America and waged an unending campaign of bloodshed and mass murder, targeting the United States, our troops, and the innocent people in many, many countries.
The situation is actually becoming more unpredictable by the day, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, this is just the beginning of a larger story. Disclaimer, we don't actually support any form of violence or escalating wars or conflict. Our goal is to make sure that we educate and of course provide a neutral perspective on development like this, ladies and gentlemen. Now, General Ebrahim Jabbari's warning adds a new layer to the tense situation unfolding in the Middle East. Ladies and gentlemen, his words carry weight because they actually suggest Iran is actually preparing to unveil weapons of immense power. These new technologies could actually change the strategic balance in the region. This warning follows previous missiles launches that have actually already raised alarms globally, all the whole world. The escalation has actually drawn attention from many countries or states and of course leaders, especially in the US and of course Israel, who are actually now closely monitoring every move made by Iran. This doesn't just affect the countries or states directly involved. The international community is actually worried, okay, about the broader or bigger implications.
There was a sense of anticipation that this could happen. I always got a sense while I was there that the Iranians were doing everything in their power to try and come up with some negotiation so this wouldn't happen. I took them at their word. I'm sad right now as a human being, as a father and as a grandfather, for the people of Iran, for the people I met, for the children I played with, for the people I talked to on the streets, because they don't deserve this. I think there are good people. There are people with 6,000 years of history. They fought battles. They fought battles not just with the United States and the Israelis, but with the Greeks and the Romans. So I think there are hardy people. The question now, to me, as I'm sitting here looking at this, is where does this go? How much does this conflagrate? How big does this get? Because it was almost like there was a lot of gasoline on the ground and somebody threw a match at it and it's already lit up. The question is, how much more gasoline will be thrown on this thing and how big will it get?
Iran's move could actually trigger more military actions, ladies and gentlemen, affecting peace in the region and of course possibly the world. The stage is actually set. What happens next will actually be crucial for global stability. Now, over the past weeks or months, ladies and gentlemen, tensions between Iran and of course other states or countries have actually been slowly building. It started with political disagreement, but now it's actually spilling over into military threat. Iran has actually shown it is actually willing to push the boundaries, okay, and General Jabbari's statements or claims shows they are actually backing down. The escalation is not just in West. The missile strikes launched today were actually meant to send a message. Iran is actually capable of unleashing destruction.
This operation will continue as long as necessary. In recent months, the tyrants in Iran have been plotting to rebuild their nuclear and missile capabilities and to bury them underground, where we won't be able to strike them. If we don't stop them now, they will become invulnerable. To that end, the representatives in negotiations are trying to buy time, attempting to buy time in fruitless and deceitful negotiations with our American friends. Whoever lays down their weapons, including among the regime forces, will ensure their safety and secure their future. The Iranian people in all their diversity, Persians, Kurds, Azeris, Baluch, Abkhazians, and all other citizens of this wonderful nation, this is your opportunity to establish a new and free Iran. Take your destiny into your own hands.
These missiles, okay, which reportedly came from their reserve was on stockpile, are actually a sign that the country is actually preparing for more intense confrontations. The US and of course Israel have actually been responding cautiously and of course carefully, but there is a growing sense of urgency. Israel's Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, Benjamin Netanyahu stated that their operation against Iran will actually continue for as long as necessary. He emphasized that if they don't actually act decisively now, Iran might actually become too strong to confront in the future. This statement signals that the situation is actually rapidly moving towards a dangerous turn point. At the same time, the international community watches closely. Leaders around the world are actually holding their breath, hoping for a peaceful resolution, but bracing for the West. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we actually dive deeper into this one, please don't forget to actually like, subscribe, and turn on notification bell, because we are always here to make sure that we analyze global and African related developments that are very complex with important people like you. So please make sure that again to join this particular community immediately. The situation continues to escalate, and of course every day brings new information. We now know that General Jabbari's statements or claims are part of a larger plan to boost Iran's military presence. These new weapons could actually be designed to counter international pressure and of course strengthen Iran's position in the ongoing conflict. This escalation, ladies and gentlemen, however, is actually not just about weaponry. It is actually about the message being sent. Iran is actually showing the world that it will not be intimidated. Okay, the promise for even more powerful weapons is actually a direct challenge to the US and of course Israel, who have long viewed Iran as a threat. At the same time, ladies and gentlemen, Israel and of course US are not standing still. Netanyahu has actually made it clear that their military actions will actually continue. His statement reflects a strong belief that if Iran is not actually stopped now, it will actually become even harder to confront in the future. This growing tension is actually not just about countries or states. It is actually a regional issue with global consequences. Other states or countries are actually already taking sides, and of course the pressure is actually building. The situation between Iran, the US, and of course Israel is actually now at a critical point. Ladies and gentlemen, whilst General Jabbari's warnings and of course the possibility of new weapons have everyone on edge, the question remains: will diplomacy prevail, or will this particular conflict escalate further? The impact of this conflict will be felt worldwide. It is not just a regional issue, it is actually a global one. Ladies and gentlemen, every move made by Iran, Israel, and of course US could actually shape the future for international relations. The coming days and of course weeks will be crucial. The world is actually watching closely, hoping for a peaceful resolution, but preparing for the West. As this particular story or development continues to unfold, we'll actually keep you updated. Just as the situation seems to be getting clearer, an unexpected shift or change has actually occurred. Iran's recent actions have actually forced many to actually reconsider the possibility of peaceful resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, Jabbari's statement or claims has actually raised eyebrows, but it is actually the potential unveiling of new weapons that is truly worrying. The stakes are very high, ladies and gentlemen, and of course the world's response will be pivotal in determining what happens next. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to actually leave your thoughts on this about the comment section responsibly, and don't forget to also share this video with other people so that they can also better understand what is actually happening